Good evening, folks. Welcome to Beer Rating with Sean Connors. It's February 10th, 2021. Still in the pandemic here in Newfoundland. We're basically just starting a lockdown. For the beer today, now normally I know which beer I'm drinking, with the exception of the advent calendars. Basically what's in the box is in the box. However, full disclosure, I totally forgot that I was doing a beer review today. Between the pandemic and retirement, who knows what day it is. So basically I have about 4, maybe 5 beer in the fridge that I've had lined up to do for the next few weeks. I'm basically going to put my hand in there and see what I get. I'm pretty sure there's a couple local beers from Newfoundland here, and I believe there's 1, maybe 2 international beers, and maybe 1 national beer. I'm just kind of winging it, so let's see what we got. Put my hand in there. I know they're in the door of the fridge. And I got a can. I think this is the international, just from the shape. Nope, this is, I believe, the national one. So this is Hucklejack Canadian Lager. This is beer with huckleberry flavor, 5% alcohol, Canadian beer. This says a crisp, balanced lager with an undertone of huckleberry, and I have no idea what huckleberry tastes like. The fuel of choice for our Canadian grizzly population. And I'm not sure who it's brewed by. It says contains barley. It says Dirt Road Touring Incorporated, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Brewed by Waterloo Brewing Limited, Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. And that's about it. So I know it's a lager. Other than that, I have no idea. I'm giving my glass a quick cold water rinse, and this is as opposed to storing in the freezer, which they say you shouldn't do for a variety of reasons. One being that a lot of times if you store it in the freezer, the glass can get the beer so cold that it's going to numb your taste buds and you won't get the full flavor. And when you're talking about ales, I mean, ale's a lot more flavorful, so you don't want that. What the other reason? Basically, another one they say could change the flavor of the beer, and by that, if there's other items in your freezer, the taste from those other items can be incorporated with the frost in the glass. If you ever had an ice cube that's been in the freezer a long time, you get a weird taste of it. Same basic idea. The other thing they say, well, if you don't believe that, they say go to a freezer, scrape some frost off the side of it, let it thaw out, and taste it. It's going to be totally disgusting. And other times, basically, you pour your beer, you might get little floaties in your beer, almost like little mini icebergs, and that's, once again, that can change the flavor. Our Hucklejack Canadian Lager. Let's pour it up, see what we got here. So it's a lager, so we know it's going to be, well, lagers are known to be clean, clear, and crisp. And this one has an awful lot of head. I wasn't really paying attention when I was pouring it, but I did have it on an angle. I think I might have poured it a little bit too fast. So quite a bit of head there. Hoping that'll calm down. So let that settle for a second. I'm going to zoom in so you can see the can. That'll give me time to let the head dissipate a little bit. Alright, zoom a little bit too far. Alright, so just so you can see the can. And I've said it before, I like ales and lagers, obviously. I like all type of beers. But if I had to choose one or the other, I think I'm more of a lager guy. And being in North America, I think that's a lot of people just because that's what we're used to. Alright. Ooh. Does have a very fruity, beery aroma. Reminds me of a little bit almost like a raspberry type of thing, I think. The big question is, how does it taste? Now the big thing is, where there's a lot of foam, when I do the taste, I want to make sure I get past the foam. Something I've also said in the past, a lot of people, they try Guinness, or just stouts in general, but specifically Guinness, they don't like it, because they get substantial head, and when they're tasting it, all they're tasting is the foam. They don't get down to the actual beer itself. And I was guilty of that too. I tried Guinness several times in my younger years, and I never got past the foam. It kind of turned me off. And then a buddy of mine, Navy buddy of mine, he brought me out drinking one night, said he was going to pay, but he was only going to buy Guinness. So I actually had to get past the foam, and I found out I actually enjoyed it. Alright, so let's give it a taste. Well, I guess I know what huckleberry tastes like now. Geez, I can't really describe it, but it's definitely a berry taste to it. Berry aroma, berry taste. It's definitely obvious. It's not something like you're going to, you really have to concentrate to find it. It's going to hit you, I find. It's not bad. I wouldn't hesitate to have another. Maybe one or two or three. With that being said, so I'm definitely going to be no lower than a 3. And my ratings, as always, are a 5, with a 1 being a drain pour. That basically means I don't like it, I can't even finish it. Doesn't happen very often, probably 2 or 3 times so far. A 2 being, yeah, I'm not a fan, but I'm not going to waste my beer, so I'll drink it. A 3 would be a good beer, a 4 would be a very good beer, and a 5 would be the best beer I've ever had. And I've never had a 5. If I ever get to a 5, that's probably the end of my reviews. A couple of 4.5s, but I find most of my ratings between 3 and 4, and that's pretty well where this one's going to fit in. I'm just not quite sure if it's a 3, 3.5, or a 4. And I only do full and half ratings. I don't do like 3.25 or 3.75, so. Quite occasional I'll say, it's a 3, but a strong 3. I don't mind it at all. It's actually pretty good. I don't know if it's very good as a 4, but I think it's definitely a 3.5 in my opinion. And once again, all these ratings are just my own personal preference. There's no science behind it. It's either I like it or I don't, and if I don't like, or if I do like it, how much do I like it? So there you go, folks, for the Hucklejack Canadian Lager beer with huckleberry flavor. I'm going to give it a 3.5. Hopefully you can join me next week. We'll see what other beer we have in the fridge. Until then, until next brew, as always, enjoy responsibly. Wash your hands.